What's up? So we got Arrow Season 1, Episode 21, The Undertaking. So this episode starts off with Oliver going out, beating some guy, and he goes after one of the guys. So yeah, so Felicity's like, hey Oliver, why don't you just be friends with Deagle again? And Oliver's like, I already tried. He's the one who left. So then we get a scene between Thea and Moira. Yeah, I still don't like Moira as a character. So we get a scene between Thea and Moira where Thea's like, hey, she misses Walter. So because she was. So then we get into a flashback. Not the Island flashback. We get into a flashback prior to the show's event of Malcom, Moira, Walter, Frank, two other people that aren't even credited for this episode, and Robert, all hanging out. Yeah, the two people in this scene are not even credited so they were just put there to be there. So yeah. So we see Malcolm talking about how his wife was killed in the glade, how the thing that happened, how he ignored her, how she called him, he ignored it, he was angry, he was annoyed, she called him again, and then two SCPD officers came to his office. We know this is probably going to be retconned like 2 seasons or later, but for now, we're just going to take this as Malcolm's story. That showed up at his office and told him that his wife died grasping for air. And he's like, hey, just imagine it, Robert. Imagine that was Moira calling her name, dying, and you would understand why he's trying to level the glade. So yeah, pretty good, interesting backstory. So yeah, so then Robert tells Moira about how this is going down, and about how this is going down, and she says, hey, this isn't like you. And he's like, hey, she's not the man, he's not the man she thinks he is. And explains about how he killed a guy, and she's like, wait, you think killing one guy will be rectified by you killing millions or thousands of people with this undertaking? So then we see. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about all the flashbacks though first. Then I'm gonna go to the more normal timeline. So then we see Oliver and Laurel. Oliver, the actor Stephen Amell, the way they got him all like youngified looks really great. And Laurel's talking about moving in with him, and obviously that is what terrifies him and causes him to sleep with Sarah. And also Oliver's like, she's like, hey, why can't you just fly to China? And Oliver's like, hey, I'll go with you. And Malcolm Merlin revealed that he put a bomb on the Queen's Gambit, and it'll make people think that it was just an act of God. But no, it was just to get Robert out of the way, because Robert wouldn't go along with his undertaking scheme. But now we're on to the current event. So current event, we see Oliver and Felicity going to a casino owned by David Alonso. And yeah, and Felicity's a good card jacker or blackjack dealer. So the guys are like, hey, Felicity, and then Oliver's like, where's Walter Steele? And they're like, hey, I was just told to do a job. And he's like, where is he? And they're like, he's dead, bro. He's dead, bro. So Oliver tells Moira and Thea. Moira gets mad and walks out. Thea's like, what's with her? So Oliver follows her to Malcolm Merlin's office, and he gets the lowdown that she's working with Malcolm Merlin. He puts a recorder arrow so he can hear everything they're saying about about how she still doesn't think about how she was loyal to the undertaking, and he just let Walter die, and he was like, no, he's still alive. So, and Oliver hears everything. He now knows that his mom is in an undertaking. She's working with Tommy's dad. Diggle was right the entire time. Yeah, Diggle, my boy, was right the entire time. So Oliver is just, trying to process this, and he's like, hey, can you, Felicity? And he's like, hey, Walter's still alive. And she's like, what about Alonzo said? And he's like, can you just look up? And she's like, and he kept calling to a building where Walter's being held. So Oliver busts in, shows that he's better than that. Now Daredevil can do a hallway fight, and busts in and says, hey Walter, you're going home. Oliver, both Laurel and Felicity both Felicity, Laurel and Moira meet Felicity for the first time in this episode. So he's like, so Malcolm tries to play it off as, oh, yeah, did she tell you anything that, who did this to him? And it's just like, come on. So Oliver shows up, Diggle's apartment, says, hey, you're right. His mom's working with Malcolm Merlin, and they got a big plan to end the episode. Okay, yeah. So, what did we learn from this episode? Moira is still an unlikable character, even though she got Oliver followed her, exposed her for the two-faced liar that she is, and now is like, hey Diggle, Moira and Malcolm are up to something, and I need to come back with me to help figure it out. I just love the ending. This episode is okay. The ending redeems it because the whole flashback stuff. It kind of is exciting to learn how Moira was prior to all this. Like, she was just a normal wife with 2 kids and a husband. Like, she was just normal until Walter's death changed her and turned how. So she didn't want to. She didn't want to help. She didn't want Robert to help Merlin, but she helps Merlin. I don't know. This title is probably going to be Oliver. Moira gets exposed by Oliver. Or Oliver finds out the truth about Moira and Malcolm's secret business. Or something like that. But I enjoyed this episode. This episode was okay. We only got 2 episodes left. Actually, we got 1 episode left. We got 1 episode left before the season finale, before we start season 2, which sets up the expanded Arrowverse. Yeah. Arrow season 2 is what sets up shows like Flash and Legends and Supergirl and all those other shows. So I'm excited to watch all those shows and watch this universe because I love the show. I can say that was an okay show, not as into it as I was. I'm not a big Bowen fan. I watched season 2. I haven't reviewed season 2 on my other channel, Arrowverse Reviews, but I'm just not reviewing season 3 of Bowen right now. I don't know why, but I just, as a big fan of Batwoman as I was. But for Arrow, I will be getting to that Batwoman show once we get through all the other shows in the Arrowverse order. But for right now, we are almost finished Arrow Season 1. Excited? Yes. Excited to watch Arrow Season 2? Yes. Excited to finally... Yes. I am excited to watch Arrow Season 2 once we get to it. Once we get to it. But yeah. Once we get to Arrow Season 2, I'll be excited. But for now, we are only 1 episode away from the Season 1 finale. And I enjoyed this season. Like, I love this season. This season is the best Arrow could be. It has the best characters, the best stories, the best villain. Malcolm Merlin is a great villain, but maybe next season villain will outdo him. We'll have to see when we get that season. Whoever, I'm just going to say whoever that will be. We'll get to that when we get to it. But until then, I'll see you next time for some more Arrow. Only one episode left till the season finale.